The Fox and the Grapes. A hungry fox saw some fine bunches of grapes hanging from a vine that was trained along a high trellis, and did his best to reach them by jumping as high as he could into the air. But it was all in vain, for they were just out of reach. So he gave up trying, and walked away with an air of dignity and unconcern, remarking, "Oh, I thought those grapes were ripe, but I see now they are quite sour." The Mischievous Dog. There was once a dog who used to snap at people and bite them without any provocation, and who was a great nuisance to everyone who came to his master's house. So his master fastened a bell round his neck to warn people of his presence. The dog was very proud of the bell and strutted about, tinkling it with immense satisfaction. But an old dog came up to him and said, "The fewer airs you give yourself, the better, my friend. You don't think, do you, that your bell was given you as a reward of merit? On the contrary, it's a badge of disgrace." And the moral of this story is, notoriety is often mistaken for fame. The Bat and the Weasels. A Bat fell to the ground and was caught by a Weasel, and was just going to be killed and eaten when it begged to be let go. The Weasel said he couldn't do that, because he was an enemy of all birds on principle. "Oh, but," said the Bat, "I'm not a bird at all. I'm a mouse." "So you are," said the Weasel. "Now I come to look at you." And he let it go. Some time after this the Bat was caught in just the same way by another Weasel, and as before begged for its life. "No," said the Weasel, "I never let a mouse go by any chance." "But I'm not a mouse," said the Bat. "I'm a bird." "Why, so you are," said the Weasel, and he too let the Bat go. The moral of this story is, look and see which way the wind blows before you commit yourself. The Cat and the Birds. A Cat heard that the birds in an aviary were ailing, so he got himself dressed up as a doctor, and, taking with him a set of instruments proper to his profession, presented himself at the door, and inquired after the health of the birds. "We shall do very well," they replied, without letting him in, "when we've seen the last of you." And the moral of this story is, a villain may disguise himself, but he will not deceive the wise.
A crow was sitting on a branch of a tree with a piece of cheese in her beak, when a fox observed her and set his wits to work to discover some way of getting the cheese. Coming and standing under the tree, he looked up and said, "What a noble bird I see above me! Her beauty is without equal, the hue of her plumage exquisite. If only her voice is as sweet as her looks are fair, she ought without doubt to be queen of the birds." The crow was hugely flattered by this, and just to show the fox that she could sing, she gave a loud caw. Down came the cheese, of course, and the fox, snatching it up, said, "You have a voice, madam, I see. What you want is wits."
The Cat and the Mice. There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A Cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me," and off she went and took up her quarters in the house, and caught the mice one by one and ate them. At last the mice could stand it no longer, and they determined to take to their holes and stay there. "That's awkward," said the Cat to herself. "The only thing to do is coax them out by a trick." So she considered a while, and then climbed up the wall and let herself hang down by her hind legs from a peg, and pretended to be dead. By and by a mouse peeped out and saw the Cat hanging there. "Aha!" it cried, "you're very clever, madam, no doubt, but you may turn yourself into a bag of meal hanging there if you like, yet you won't catch us coming anywhere near you." And the moral of this story is, If you are wise, you won't be deceived by the innocent airs of those whom you have once found to be dangerous."